We've been gathered around this fire for about 3 days now.
Yeah, if we knew we were going to do a two-parter, why did we do 4 days apart? Why wouldn't we just do, like, Tuesday and then Tuesday a few minutes later?
No. It wouldn't be this podcast. It wouldn't be this podcast unless we did something really stupid.
And, considering we are just recording this, why didn't we just record them both, and release this one later?
No.
I've grown a beard.
Silly.
In the 3 days since we've been here.
It's the Steve and Kyle Podcast 2019 Year in Review, Part 2.
The megacast continues. There was too much funny this year to hold into just one episode, so I guess...
Yeah, some would say that.
I guess we can actually say it now. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Let acquaintance be forgot.
Keep your eye on that grand old flag. Every time I hear, what is it, Auld Lang Syne? Every time I hear that, I get halfway through and it turns into "You're a Grand Old Flag." It's like the same exact cadence or whatever.
Wait, we're a few steps away from a musical there, Steve.
Yeah.
A few steps away. So, as we mentioned, too much to contain in one episode, so a lot more to get to today as we traverse through the year that was of Steve and Kyle.
Yeah, there was a time on this podcast when my throat or my gullet would make strange noises, and we would stop and we would save each one of them, and then we would put them head-to-head against another one in a little something we called the Throat Goblin Tournament. We've had the Steve 16, the Throaty 2, I think was what we called it this year. We decided to stop doing that, though. But we look back on this time when we were revealing, after like 8 weeks of build-up, 8 consecutive podcasts, we had talked about this university versus that university in a very March Madness-themed tournament. And
our tournament, with half the teams, went twice as long as the actual basketball tournament.
I think that, this
ended
clip
the end
here,
of April, right?
The end of April is when March Madness ended for us.
But it all came to a pinnacle, Steve, because at the very end, the big announcement of the winner, you had your very own Steve Harvey moment.
It's a big day here in the discussion den.
I'm getting pumped. Are you getting pumped right now?
Of course, yeah. This song
I want to go
playing.
shoot some hoops, like post up on a guy, and then fist fight.
Want a candy cigarette?
If you want to be the best, you got to be a fighter. If you want to be the best.
All right, well, thank you. What am I smoking here? Is this
this is still the Stallion box.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
This is obviously, Steve, it's multiple brands, I believe. There was the Lucky, Lights, Target, Kings, and Stallions.
Lights.
Lights candy, not a candy cigarette. It's a Lights candy. So,
all right.
This is the conclusion this week, Steve.
This is finally it.
Only 3 weeks after the basketball tournament wrapped up, Steve and Kyle, we finally wrap up the Throaty 2 Throat Goblin Tournament.
Yes, this was 32 noises that came from my innards. Actually, 29, right? Because 3 of them were yours.
30. No, 2 of them were mine. I had 1 eliminated in the Throaty 2, Cardia Center of Medicine. Mm-hmm. Advanced to the Steve 16. Craw Academy, though, lost to the University of Jowl. And in the Steve 16, Cardia Center of Medicine ended up being upset by the number 5 seed Loud Stomach State. So I only had 2 out of 32 and only had 1 advance to 16. None of them advanced to the What I Ate. All Steve sounds from the last 8 to the Phlegm 4 to the Tonsil 2, the championship round this last week.
It's been a flurry of activity. The votes pouring in over the last week or so.
Now, this is a big matchup, Steve, because I believe 3 weeks in a row I've declared the end of Cinderella.
Yeah, you definitely have. So we had the number 1 seed Pharynx Polytechnic. Oh boy. Versus the number 7 seed Acid Reflux Correspondence School, otherwise known as ARCS, as we call them here in the discussion den.
Yeah. Listen,
shocking that ARCS
a run.
Shocking that they were able to get past Phlegm A&M, They were able to get past Intestinal Rumble Art School, Iris, of course,
Fat Lip Tech, Flit,
and Gut State in the first round.
Juice.
They don't all need to be short. So, this was it. This is you proclaimed the end of the Cinderella story. Again, the number one seed Pharynx Polytechnic versus the number 7 seed Acid Reflux Correspondence School.
Yeah, now listen, we've seen Cinderella runs before, but this is the equivalent, Steve, of a 14 seed in the basketball tournament, making it all the way to the championship. Hasn't happened. Isn't going to change now, I don't think. I think the championship is going to be a runaway with Pharynx Polytechnic.
Really?
The VCU Rams did this in like 2012. We've had George Mason do this in the mid-2000s, make it to the Final Four. But nobody's made it to the championship. Nobody's won the championship from a low seed like this. And this would truly delegitimize our entire tournament if the number 7 seed Arcs upsets Pharynx Polytechnic.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I said, a flurry of activity over the last 5-6 days or so. People just... the website actually crashed for a little while. So many votes were coming in.
Yeah, you had a bunch of people, with your paid subscriptions to your side gig.
Yeah,
trying to get their dumb content, trying to get to their videos of Timmy yelling Stephen Pyle Codpast.
I love the Stephen Pyle Codpast.
So the lines of people waiting to enter the website were denied momentarily until you called in the backup generator. It's like that scene in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation where Clark finally gets the Christmas lights on, and you have to see a hand just turn on the nuclear power backup. You had to call the server who hosts your website, have them kick in the reserve bandwidth.
Yeah. So the big news here, Kyle.
Oh, no!
What have I told you? That history was made. But there was no mystery.
That a number 7 seed could do the unthinkable.
That a number 7 seed known in the discussion den simply as Arcs could knock off a number 1 seed from the left ventricle in decisive fashion.
That we still don't know what a correspondence school actually is.
But it doesn't matter, because everyone knows that Acid Reflux Correspondence School is your 2019 champion.
Hey!
The Steve and Kyle podcast proudly presents Arcs Champion? I don't remember why, but I remembered it always has
Everything
to end.
has to end on a question. On a question mark. Wow, so they did it, Steve. What was the percentage total there as Acid Reflux Correspondence School makes its way all the way to the championship and wins, defeating the runaway favorite Pharynx Polytechnic, had just been steamrolling the competition in weeks prior?
I got some bad news.
Uh-oh.
I just realized that I read the results backwards. I swear to God. They lost 64 to 36%.
All right, hit the music again. Hit the damn music. Oh my God.
Oh no! We gotta play it in reverse.
Okay.
What have I told you? That I'm a big dumb idiot.
That number 7 seeds don't win the championships.
What have I told you? That sometimes I have trouble with numbers and reading and the like.
That numbers lined up next to the team names, sometimes too difficult. Oh man, can you pull up the screen? I have to see what you did here.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That is tremendous.
And when I pull up this screen, you're going to agree with me that there is zero excuse for this blunder.
Hasn't been a blunder like this since the Academy Award by, what was it, Mr. one of the Beatties, right?
Yeah.
And some other lady announcing.
Look at that. There's no.
Oh my God.
There's no. It's not even like it was close.
No, that was. Yeah, that's. I mean, it says 1 Pharynx Polytechnic. There's a bar.
64% of the vote,
and then
7 Acid Reflux Correspondence School. 36% of the vote.
So nearly 2-1, Pharynx Polytechnic runs away with it, but in tremendous fashion, the Stephen Kyle podcast or the Stephen Pyle Codcast stumbles to the finish line with the Throat Goblin Championship. Oh my God!
I love the Stephen Pyle Codcast.
Yes,
never been more true than right now, Timmy. Thank you. Boy, oh boy, we're really living up to that name, aren't we?
That long pause that I had there, it was me internally debating, all right, do I just stick with this? Or do I admit my idiocy?
You mean just lie?
Yeah.
That was the idea?
Yeah. Do I lie about this? Nope, can't do that. That is not the spirit of this podcast at all.
Plus, there's no rhyme or reason. It's a tournament of body noises. Spare yourself the shame,
Boy.
Steve. You read something wrong about different noises your body's made over the last calendar year. Well, what a way for...
You'll be hearing this one again come December.
Oh, my God. That is tremendous. And as we said, that is the only fitting way for the Throat Goblin tournament to come to its natural conclusion. Return date.
Just a whimper.
Just an absolute whimper and a mistake. Return date TBD for the Throat Goblin tournament. That is... Oh, thank you for that, Steve.
Hey, no problem.
A lot of you would think that's on purpose. I can promise you it was not.
I can assure you.
Holy cow.
Oh, man, I was so happy to bring back the...
I know.
The 30 for 30. We haven't done that in months, probably a year.
I mean, that still holds for... if you just ignore what actually happened.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so if we just hold the lie that ARCS did it, that 30 for 30, will stand the test of time, Steve.
Just terrible. I'm a big, dumb idiot.
Well, hard to argue there, Steve.
Ugh.
My goodness. A real foot in throat moment.
That gap where I had that realization, it's like a 6-second long gap where I'm thinking, hey, stupid, think you messed it up. No, I got it right.
There is, in my mind, no more fitting way to end the Throat Goblin tournament that we did twice than that.
Yeah.
And
very
again,
fitting.
As you announced, and we have mentioned it as you announced, Steve, it is dead. We are not doing it this year. It has been a dream come true for me to not have to try to find those things in the pantheon of these episodes that we do. It is nice to be done.
One thing that we will never be done with is history lessons on this podcast.
Listen, we have an offshoot called History of the Mystery.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really delve into the topics much, but we just give the history on how long it's been a mystery. And this podcast does a lot of overhead garage door talk for some reason. That sounds weird to say, but if you go back and look at all of our show recaps, garage door is in there a disappointing amount of times, if I can be honest. But in this case, for some reason, we were talking about, I think it was right around the time that we were going to replace your garage door, and we somehow stumbled into talk about the history of the overhead garage door opener.
Yeah, that's accurate, and if this isn't a reason to sell it to your friends about you can now hear the history of the overhead garage door opener, I don't know what is. Enjoy the deep dive. I'm excited because this garage door has been just an absolute nightmare for a couple of years. It's ancient, it's heavy, it was broken down twice with 2 different problems in the last few years. The spring broke, and we talked about that ad nauseum. And then the cable?
Cable, popped out
because that happens.
Popped out of the wheel.
It's 2019. How long have garage? Okay, I need to do a deep dive. How long have garage doors been around, Steve? Okay. Like, are garage doors something that have been?
I bet the garage door was invented
Well, automatic garage door, like a
Okay, so you're
because
talking with a garage-
I
so you
mean, I
wanna
could
know when the
slap
garage
a few
door-
pieces of wood and slide it up and down.
You
right?
want to know when the garage door opener was invented? Then
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That would be.
I'm going to say 19. Let's say 1960.
Wow. Okay. A lot earlier than that.
Really?
Stunning. And we may have a road trip on our hands
Is there like a museum somewhere?
because we are going to find and investigate the home of one C.G. Johnson in Hartford City, Indiana.
Okay.
Developed the electric overhead garage door opener in 1926.
What?
So Edison barely had a bulb on.
And this
I'll
guy-
say it. I'll say it. C.G. Johnson, smarter than Thomas Edison.
That's a hot take right there.
Edison sitting here, oh, look, it brings light. Cool. This guy's already a step ahead. He's got an automatic opener to cover his Model T.
That's impressive, CJ.
C.G. Johnson,
C.G. Johnson.
1926, Hartford City, Indiana. There's got to be a garage door opener museum, right?
Oh boy, I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't.
How about this? If I find a
Is it
garage door
Hartford?
opener museum, will you commit right now?
Is that the next
You're
trip?
going.
Is that the next trip?
Oh, man.
Nothing, huh?
They only have an exhibit at the Henry Ford Museum about garage door openers.
Where's the Ford Museum?
Detroit, East Side.
Easy.
There's also the garage door opener at the National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C.
Well, we could just go right to the scene of the crime, right to Hartford City, Indiana.
What are we talking? What's the drive time?
It's gonna be a little bit of a hike. It's south of Fort Wayne.
Is it under 4 hours?
It is 3 hours 21 minutes.
I'm willing. We could knock that down to 3. Have ourselves a nice Burger King lunch with another listener.
Do we have the address of the first garage door opener, or are we just going to the town just to
There's
see,
got to be a plaque, right? Like, hey, this
Just
is C.G. Johnson's home.
just to see what the people think? Like, hey, you live in the town of C.G. Johnson. Who?
C.G. Johnson.
C.G. Johnson.
Garage door opener. Boy, there's got to be, because I need to visit the scene of this genius.
Oh, you
this
know what we
man
do?
who has outdone Thomas Edison.
Because I think that we find the address, we go there. Because something tells me CG didn't get the attention he deserved. Maybe
Right.
we bring a plaque.
Okay,
Knock on the door.
here's what we need to do. Is Hartford City, Indiana anywhere on social media? Because I'm thinking we message the council.
It's actually very close to Van Wert.
Is it really?
I mean,
so we could do another trip to Convoy?
We're maybe 20 minutes from a half hour max from Van Wert. It looks like a couple country roads will get us over there.
Hartford City, Indiana, because here's what I'm thinking. I think maybe, if as you expect, it doesn't get the respect it deserves, we try to get a C.G. Johnson Day, maybe get, the great-granddaughter, whatever. Well, 1926, you figure, what if he was in his 30s? There's children alive.
Yeah.
Children in their 50s
yeah.
and 60s.
Yeah,
absolutely.
because if he was born in the early 1900s, then most likely. So, yeah, his kids would be pretty old at this point. They'd be in their 80s. But his grandparents or his grandkids are they'll be kicking.
So I have the Hartford City, Indiana Wikipedia pulled up, because all the Wikipedias always have usually like, famous people from here. And I remember we looked for Van Wert, and it was like a 404 error not found, if I remember right when we looked.
So, I mean, C.G. Johnson's got to be at least top 5.
There's none. They don't even have the section.
Okay.
National Register
Okay.
of...
All right. Say no more.
He is not getting the due
say
justice.
no more. We're going there.
Listen,
We're going to Hartford City, Indiana. We're going this summer.
there was a
And
feature-length...
and we're bringing a freaking plaque with us.
There was a feature-length film about the loser who made windshield wipers, starring like Greg Kinnear. This guy can't even get mentioned in the Wikipedia page of his own town.
Boy, am I pissed. Okay, it's a little further than I thought from Van Wert. It's an hour.
Is it really?
Hour and 20.
I have a list of National Register of Historic Places in Blackford County, Indiana, Steve. There's a courthouse built in 1894.
Snooze.
First Presbyterian Church. Oldest church building.
Hey, God. Hey, God lives here.
I expect him to take one on the chin today. And we have the Hartford City Courthouse Square Historic District. Okay.
I think we need to reach out. We need to message this Facebook page and say that we are a group of young entrepreneurs from the Midwest. We're looking to give credit where credit is due to the man that invented the garage door opener in their very town, C.J. Johnson? C.G. Johnson.
Johnson home, Indiana. I mean, I refuse to believe that a state like Indiana, they don't have a lot of famous sons, really, right?
No.
I mean, I'm not to be disrespectful to Indiana, but you suck.
Yeah, I mean, you got like Larry Bird and C.J. Johnson. C.G. Johnson.
And Gary, Indiana.
Oh, God.
Not the guy named, but, just as equivalent, a guy named Gary.
Yeah.
Is the same.
Sure, Gary is named after someone named Gary.
All we're saying is you don't have much. You got Michael Jackson's, garbage childhood home. And now you've got the home of C.G. Johnson. And you can't find anything about him, Steve. You can't find anything about it. So when I'm reading the history of the overhead garage door opener, somebody wrote this beautiful piece in 2015. C.G. Johnson, photo courtesy. Okay. All right. August 1, 1921. Patent indicates that Owen Dautrick, not C.G. Johnson, was the inventor of the original overhead garage door, yet it's possible that C.G. Johnson submitted a patent earlier that year. So now we've got controversy. Maybe Indiana's shunning its only famous son? We need to find out. Okay, so
we need to call this person, this author. We need to get them on the phone, say that we're very interested. We're thinking about coming down there. Maybe they could give us a tour of the town, show us where C.G. Johnson lived, show us where the other guy lived. We can plot out plot points on a map, figure out if we can determine who invented this or not.
Yeah. So they have the first garage door factory is located there. Oh, no, sorry. The factory is in Detroit, so that doesn't help us at all.
That is not even close.
1921, 1922. It's all about this Owen Dautrick. 1922, Owen Dautrick, C.G. Johnson, and Arthur Kraska apply for a patent for new and useful improvements in the overhead garage door opener. C.G. and Flora Johnson, by 1930, are living in Beverly Hills, California.
Oh!
So they did strike it big.
Oh, boy.
In November, after the stock market crashed, the overhead door of Hartford City announces its plans to expand. So they thrived.
After the market crash.
They thrived while everybody failed. So that's it. That's settled, folks. We're going to Hartford City, Indiana to locate and properly commemorate the home and birthplace of the overhead garage door opener.
If anybody out there,
everybody takes advantage of and doesn't quite give enough respect to.
We got anyone out there in the listening audience who's a plaque maker, a plaquist? We need maybe a stone chipper. I don't know, sculptor.
Do you want to bring them with us, and then they just find a stone in the yard and chip it, and then we put the plaque on that?
No, I'm thinking we go right to the town square. I want to be right in the middle of the action.
Now, we have Hartford City, Indiana on Facebook. We also have Hartford City, the local newspaper, the Hartford City News Times, it looks like. Just pick one.
The Hartford City News Times Gazette Herald.
Well, sadly, our grandiose idea to reinvigorate the town of Hartford City, Indiana with a monument and a plaque was met by our friend from the museum,
Senor Castillo.
Senor Costello
Castillo
was met with the defeating news that the home is in shambles and there's no hope for recovery.
God, it was the saddest email I've ever read.
I still stand by it, though, Steve, that I think that is our chance at making a local newspaper.
Yeah.
And I still think that dream needs to be alive regarding this home, because this is the type of town we could do it in, and it would be mentioned in their news, because it's so... That should be a big deal for them. And C.G. Johnson is just disregarded.
Should we put it on the bucket list for 2020 to get that accomplished?
I still want to. And again, we still need a plaquist.
That's right. We need a plaquist to make us a plaque. And I think that we should have a keyist, too, to make us a big novelty key.
Yep.
So if the city won't give us a key, we will give ourselves a key.
Yeah. Mark your calendars, everybody. Sometime in 2020, the third annual Steve and Kyle podcast trip to nowhere.
A useless vacation.
Is now... We keep going down in, terms of quality of towns. We've gone from Boston to Van Wert to now Hartford City, Indiana. But, Steve... One thing we can't escape, and that is our simple love of dumb history, like you just heard there.
Yeah.
Well, it extends a little further.
From time to time, we take these deep dives, like we talked about the overhead garage door. But in this case, we really needed to know the history of some of the great Postmaster Generals of all time.
Excuse you? The Postmaster Generals?
Oh, General Postmaster?
General Postmaster? Yeah, I'm just kindly asking you to get it right.
Yeah.
They're out there serving the end of the driveways.
Sure. Is this as close that you would consider someone to a god, the Postmaster General? I know that you hold them in very high regard.
Yeah, this is the pinnacle. Every little boy and girl out there who wanted to and wants to grow up and become a male person, you look up to and you study the history of General Postmaster and hope that one day you can achieve those heights. This was preceded by no surprise, another gripe you've had with the United States Postal Service.
I'm putting this stupid mailbox in this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Something jumps out at me. Like I said, the little flip down front says U.S. Mail on it.
Sure.
And then stamped on the bottom of it, in raised letters. If you look at the Jumbotron, you'll see the picture that I have posted.
Oh, would you look at that? Oh, my goodness, Steve. My dream job. Can you imagine? Well,
stamped on the front of the mailbox in raised letters, it says, approved by the Postmaster General.
Yeah. Okay. Man, what a gig that is. And I appreciate you making sure your mailbox falls in line with the arduous end of the driveway warriors.
I'm going to scrape that off and see if they question me.
Do their jobs successfully and safely on a daily basis. We thank you for making sure the integrity of your mail receptacle is up to code. And personally, I don't think it's out of line for you to send an email or maybe a handwritten thank you card to the general himself.
What's his name?
Post.
Oh, first name Post.
Last name Master.
Middle name Master. Last name General.
No, he's the general.
Oh,
he's
okay.
General Postmaster.
Okay, I've never heard it referred to in that.
Yeah, and you have to have that cadence as well.
Yeah, General Postmaster.
Yeah, not General Postmaster. You just sound like an idiot. It's General Postmaster, and that is currently Megan Brennan, obviously, as everybody knows. And Megan Brennan, listen, if you follow the forums like I do.
Is she wearing the costume?
No, she's got a nice...
Like those denim blue shorts with the stupid stripe on the side of them.
She's got a seat in D.C.
Oh,
do you want to... Okay, if you want to keep dogging...
You're a letter carrier.
If you want to keep dogging General Postmaster, do you want to know who the first General Postmaster was?
Oh, please. Blow my mind.
Our very own Benjamin Franklin, Steve. So keep dogging the Postmaster, him or herself, because Megan Brennan is carrying on a tried and true legacy. Listen, like I said, if you scour the forums like I do and like I know you do.
The Postmaster forums?
The Postmaster forums. We all know Megan Brennan has a discerning eye for a legitimate mailbox. So you should rest easy tonight and every night going forward knowing that your mail receptacle is up to Megan Brennan's code.
So are you telling me that when Company X designs a mailbox, they have to send a prototype to this idiot who can then say,
First of all,
looks good to me.
Whoa. And second of all, I would argue the most important task of a postmaster's job and career for the United States government is ensuring the safety of not only our end of the driveway warriors in blue,
Safety?
but also ensuring
What could go wrong?
But also ensuring the quality and safety for the letter sender themselves in you. So thank you, Megan Brennan. Thank you to all current, previous postmasters and generals.
What? Okay. Describe to me the last letter carrier related mailbox injury.
Oh, there's carpal tunnel all over the place in the letter carrier industry.
Because they're too difficult to open?
You get some that are too difficult to open. You've got some that just fly open. There's been some bleeding issues with flags like yours that were safety hazards, just willy-nilly flapping in the wind. I don't even want to get into the ulnar nerve injuries that our letter carriers and end of the driveway warriors have had to endure over the years.
Oh, boy.
So thank you, Steve, and thank you, General Postmaster, for looking out for everybody's health. I don't know about you, but my favorite General Postmaster, not Benjamin Franklin, in a real upset.
You consider yourself a patriot, don't
Marvin Travis Runyon. And now he danced through a couple of different presidencies. George H.W. Bush was
Marvin
retained.
Travis Runyon?
Yes, Steve. Took place.
Good old MTR.
Yeah, now I'd appreciate some respect. He passed away in 2004.
Oh, God rest his soul.
He was a forceful and charismatic figure.
Cremated and buried in a mailbox?
Picked up.
Is that approved by the postmaster?
Imagine his family's got his remains in a urn that looks like a mailbox. Do you think they put the flag up on his birthday? Oh, Marvelous Marv.
I call him the Runnin' Runyon.
Carvin Marvin. His two nicknames. Marvelous Marv and Carvin Marvin.
What's he carving?
Carving through that route. Carving through neighborhoods. And by the looks of him, carving through the ladies.
Is that a compliment?
I mean, you don't get called Marvelous Marv, by being not dashing. That's Marvin Travis Runyon. Again, passed away 2004. Rest in peace. We did miss the anniversary, the 15th anniversary of his passing, Steve. Luckily, though, we are only 2 months away from being able to celebrate what would be his 95th birthday.
Oh, boy.
We'll have a little celebration.
Of course.
Maybe we'll go over some of Marvelous Marv's, Carvin Marvin's career highlights.
His deliveries. Like one time he delivered the Inquirer to the Smiths. Oh, that's a newspaper.
He stepped down in 1998, Steve.
1998, so
yeah.
He was up there already.
Well, yeah, 98. So he was 74, still hucking letters, sorting mail. You think Marvelous Marv was working OT in the holidays like the rest of our end of the driveway warriors?
No, and if he was just complaining about it like all of them do.
Thank you for your service.
One day, Kyle, that could be you. That could be you up there on that mantle, or up on that plaque, hanging inside every post office across this great land.
Do you think I could get...
No.
Well, we mentioned our love of history. And again, the more I am seeing and hearing again what we've talked about this year, the more I'm understanding why our download numbers are simply
dipping.
stagnant.
Yeah.
Because what we're about to get into, I don't even know how to break the seal to talk about this, Steve.
Yeah, the only thing I can say is that somehow a man named Larry Ferrari came up on this podcast, and he was a guy that hosted a Sunday morning organ music television show.
Local television show.
On Channel 6 in Philadelphia for many, many years.
Yeah,
many years.
More than 40 years.
Yeah.
So we took yet another trip down memory lane after we found out that, Steve, your mother, this was part of the Sunday morning TV ritual. I literally can't believe this. For the second, we didn't learn any lesson from what we both agree was the worst episode we've ever distributed 1 week ago. We're back at it.
We're right back at it.
3 minutes in, talking Rathbone Longshot.
Well, we may as well just cue the music that everybody has been waiting to hear for the last 1 week. This is our walk down memory lane music.
It's Sunday morning in the Delaware Valley. For over 25 years, it's been a Philadelphia tradition to join Larry Ferrari at the organ.
Got a little Ferrari trivia for you.
Goody me.
Here's Larry.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Good morning and welcome to our Sunday morning musical get-together here on Palm Sunday in the Delaware Valley area.
Boy, there have been some big happenings since we last recorded concerning that of Mr. Larry Ferrari.
Have there.
Turns out that as we learned last week, he was a legendary Sunday morning television organist
and alleged poor man who drank away his life savings.
Allegedly. It's all still a mystery. Our fact checkers haven't gotten to the bottom of that quite yet. But my mom used to have regular run-ins with Mr. Ferrari at the grocery store.
Oh. You know, they got that whole
Hold
section
on.
in.
I don't think you heard me.
Okay. Maybe my headphones aren't working correctly because you prefaced that by saying you had some, interesting information.
Maybe if I prefaced it with...
Oh! Sat up in my chair, ears perked.
Live from APS 3.0, Steve's mom had frequent run-ins with Larry Ferrari.
Run-ins is what she called it.
Well, she used to see him at the grocery store on a regular basis. And Mr. Ferrari...
Handles of booze in his cart.
Mr. Ferrari...
Hair disheveled.
Unless you...
Shirt half tucked in.
Unless you couldn't tell by this. That is not a natural head of hair.
What?
And
I wouldn't have...
My mom said, oh yeah, I used to see Larry Ferrari and his stupid rug all the time.
I was going to say, I thought it would be... the other way, that was his disguise. He would just take it off when he went grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I mean, can you imagine what a thrill running into that legend,
Mr. Ferrari.
Mr. Ferrari, at a grocery store.
In Cinnaminson.
Wow.
The grocery store, I think I told you via text, it was inexplicably called Talk of the Town.
Yes, and that's another thing. Far too many text messages regarding Larry Ferrari this week. My entire history with this, as I refer to him, souped-up idiot machine player, I had every anticipation was going to end 1 week ago today. Because there couldn't possibly be, let alone any more, we hadn't received the first interesting fact about this idiot. Yet I can count, I think, 3 to 5 more text messages exchanged, not just with you. Brother Mike jumps in on this nonsense, talking about the Sunday morning television schedule in greater PA. I'm done with him. Like I told you, your mom used to see it, and maybe she's kind of remembered more fondly than what it was. But in my mind, again, Larry Ferrari, missing the toupee because he's trying to get out and get groceries undercover, disheveled, shirt half tucked in, handles of booze in his cart.
Just what do you think he was? You think he was a Jack Daniels man, or do you think he was like
gin,
like a Sailor Jerry?
My guess is like just a straight gin. So he'd have handles of that.
Not even rocks.
Realize that his
just straight out of the bottle. Oh, I bet Ferrari was a flask man.
I could see that. Yeah, he's Larry Ferrari very rarely would go out without his suit jacket on.
Do you think that one of the pipes in the organ was a hidden flask?
Oh yeah, that or a beer tap. Just kind of there's a little nozzle on the the non-camera side,
right?
And he would.
I don't know. I think that in that show they probably got up close and personal with the keys, so you could really see Ferrari tickling the ivories.
And he's getting his bachelor food because he's quote unquote married, but only because he can't be a divorced man running the local Presbyterian organ or whatever he was doing on the Sunday morning show. So he's got a fake marriage, so he's just got a cart full of SpaghettiOs, microwavable food, a few frozen pizzas for when he really feels up to the task of turning on his oven.
I mean, he died pretty early. Couldn't have been a very happy man.
He was in his 70s. I don't know if that's that early.
I thought he was like 65.
Didn't we realize he was in his it's like in World War II, wasn't he? Or am I going back to the Bob Barker conversation?
Oh boy, I don't know. There are a lot of similarities.
Larry Ferrari. This is stunning.
I'm just going to type it out now on the show description. The continuing.
Oh, good. So you're just going to have people
of Larry Ferrari.
He was 65. Some would argue lived 15 years too long. Some. I mean, I've got a later picture of him, and it actually looks like he took that toupee and grayed it.
Wow, do you think now? Okay, so if you're going to do that, do you go natural progression of like brown, then a little salt and pepper, then a little bit more, then a little bit more, or do you just rip the Band-Aid off?
Yeah, you just spray paint it gray one day.
you show up to work one day and be like, oh boy, last week has really been crazy.
And people might, you just let people, Larry must have had a rough week. Jeanette must have really left him with nothing in that divorce.
Oh, that's his ex?
That's what I'm assuming.
That's the tramp.
Whoa! Hold your phone.
Whoa! Hold on. Do we have breaking Ferrari news?
I have breaking Ferrari news. Live from the Steve and Kyle Podcast Auction Studios, we have a Larry Ferrari authentic photograph. So, Steve.
Okay. So, breaking news is that you found a photo of him.
Larry Ferrari, WFIL, Philadelphia, photo. Autographed by the one, the only, Larry Ferrari himself. Now, Steve.
Where is this at?
You know how famous Larry Ferrari was, and apparently still is, in you and your brother's mind.
Again, I don't remember this man. My brother did.
What do you think the going rate for an autographed photo of organist number 2, whatever that means, Larry Ferrari himself, is currently going for on eBay?
I'm going to say $3.99, Bob.
Steve, you're undercutting, but I think we can get you a deal.
What is it at?
At the going rate right now, you can buy this photo of Larry Ferrari for $4.17.
If I told you that I was logging into my eBay account right now.
But wait one moment.
Ooh, there's more?
Because this is already from the discounted price of $5.95. There's the make an offer button, Steve. They're trying to charge you a little over $4 to ship this weird card stock for the small price of less than $9 total shipped to you.
There it is. Who is it autographed to?
It looks like to George.
Let's see. To George. Larry. To George and something? And then it's autographed down at the bottom.
It's
autographed twice. Look at that.
I do regret to inform you, though.
Oh, boy.
That it doesn't seem like we have room in APS 4.0. We just have too much stuff to put up.
I think it would just be too much.
That's too far. Like, we just don't have the space, Steve. That's all there is to it.
But
no
it would be a
offense
shame to let this relic pass through our grasp.
It's less than $9. I can get you a cassette tape of musical varieties by Larry Ferrari at the Con Organ.
Hold on, I'm looking at the condition of this autograph. Some light foxing from age and a small stain in the upper right corner. I'm willing to look past the stain, but the foxing...
Do you want to know what the going rate for a Larry Ferrari autographed personalized photo from WPVI TV?
So this that's is after, Channel 6.
This is after Ferrari...
That's the big one.
Hit the big time, Steve.
All right, well, if the FIL one was $4.17, I'm thinking that the PVI one has got to be at least $6.
Go start checking the couch cushions. You're going to need a little bit more.
$8.
For the fee of $20.
You get right out of here.
You can have your very own Larry Ferrari personalized autograph. Well, not personalized to you because he's dead.
Who's it personalized to, though?
It's in the same top left corner.
That must have been Ferrari's thing.
The top left corner. Everybody knows you get a Ferrari autograph, it goes top left corner.
That's the first step to authentication.
Oh my God! So this is after Ferrari had a few gins that morning. See if you can comprehend any of those letters.
To Aloydel.
Yeah, to Aladdin. And
well,
then Larry
that
Ferrari
could
looks
just
like,
as easily say to Stephen Kyle.
And then the Larry Ferrari looks like Len Steen. So this must have been pretty late in the Ferrari lifetime.
Okay, let's see the actual headshot, though. I need to...
Oh, the WPVI, yeah.
Do you have the rug yet?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
again, look at that.
You didn't see Ferrari without the rug. That's the one thing you know about Ferrari.
In the FIL one, he's got a nice haircut.
Seemed like it started to go, maybe, and this was his solution.
Yeah, like, really, man? That was the best they could do?
Well, Larry Ferrari can't go without impressing the ladies.
I miss that man.
Doesn't even say who it's... signed to. I do, in fact, have some Larry Ferrari trivia for you, Steve.
Oh, good. Good, let's do it.
Did you know?
About 17 minutes in now. 17 minutes in.
That Larry did not use sheet music. After hearing a song, he just played it from memory.
Wow.
If that goes to tell you how difficult that instrument is... What is there, 4 keys? Is it like a child's toy where it's just like red, yellow, green, and blue, and then he just beep boop beep boop?
Yeah, he played Simon. That was that thing, right?
And that is how he listen, this isn't like, wow, how about Ferrari? No, this is like, if you need sheet music for this 4-button buffoonery, that's your own fault.
Give me more. Give me more facts.
Oh, that's all I got.
Oh, I thought you said you had Ferrari facts. I had a Ferrari fact.
Whoa.
Back in 1982, what kind of organ was Ferrari playing on the Larry Ferrari show?
The big one with pipes. Steve. The only organ there is, it's the big one with those stupid pipes that stick out of the top.
Well, if that's the nickname for the Hammond Elegante, then yes, you're correct. The big one with pipes.
Oh, yeah, Elegante. It's Spanish for big.
Yep, with pipes.
Yeah, big with pipes. I know my Spanish. Well, this has been offensive. I apologize to everybody for this again. I don't even believe you've started the show. Ooh. Sounds of the Elegante.
Look at that. He's playing the bottom tier and the middle tier at the same time. I mean, the Elegante just has a sound all its own.
I believe you mentioned it.
Oh, by the way, this organ has no pipes whatsoever.
Nope. Oh, so it's a fake organ.
It's an electric organ.
It's the keyboard of the organ world. Everybody knows that a true organ has big pipes.
Sing it, Lair.
Wow, listen to him break. So this would go on for 1 hour on television every single week?
It would appear so. I don't know if it was an hour or a half hour.
I just can't fathom. I mean,
Wasn't enough. Wasn't enough, if you ask me.
The main question I have is why?
Who watched that?
Apparently you and your brother. What did you... No, I don't have the text message handy. Your brother texted both you and I.
Yeah,
when he heard.
When he heard the news.
When he saw it.
When he heard the
in
news
the show
that,
description that we were going to break down Ferrari for some unknown reason. There it is. Okay. Larry Ferrari on Sunday mornings on Channel 6, followed, of course, by Al Albert's Showcase.
Okay, well, we're going to have to look that up. Al Albert's Showcase.
I don't know why we don't just... Your mom is here this weekend. I don't know why we don't just have her break down why you were forced into watching... Is this Al?
Of course it is. Look at this. Look at that audience. Is that Al? That must be Al.
And now, here's the host of the showcase and the star of our show, Al Albert!
That was the worst voice I've ever heard. All right, so
There's about 4 people who look actually excited to be there. The rest look like they were forced by somebody else.
So this is like Star Search, but on a local level?
Where there's no stars. You heard that, girl.
You're beautiful. Thank you. Welcome to Showcase.
Is
And
Al
welcome,
drinking?
If you will, please, Melissa Lynn.
Go back 10 seconds, Steve, and listen to him open that.
And whenever you see one of our teeny boppers.
Jump that.
You're beautiful. Thank you. Welcome to Showcase. And welcome, if you will, please, Melissa Lynn on the piano. And whenever you see one of our teeny boppers on the piano, it means they're giving Uncle Al the pleasure of singing.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
We can stop this right now.
All right, we'll go ahead and close that window because Al's a creep. Al would be what we refer to these days as a pedophile. Back in the day, Al was just, a sweet guy who really loves children. But now, Al's doing 20 to life.
Teeny bopper on the piano. What was the second line? What was the one that I already forgot it? I was so distracted by this random young child sitting on the piano or something, and he rests his hand on her leg, which is just a little weird enough. I don't know.
Boy. Boy, oh boy.
Brother Mike, I am sorry, because I feel like we just slapped your childhood in the face with reality. You need to go right now and look up the Al Albert Showcase on YouTube and watch that, Mike, because
your opinion of old Uncle Al might be a little different.
Uncle Al is what sealed it. The entire combination of him saying, when one of those teeny boppers is on the piano, old Uncle Al. Appointment television indeed, Steve.
Boy, that who could have seen that coming?
You were just home for the holidays, Steve. Did you happen to recap that? Now, we'd had a discussion about Al Alberts with our brother Mike. Mm-hmm. Did this come up at all with your sister, your mother, anybody?
No, it didn't. I think, like the rest of America, everyone just tried to forget about Al.
His videos all over YouTube, and there are people older than you, but probably younger than your mother, who obviously grew up on Al Alberts. Mm-hmm. And are now probably taking a good hard look at those videos and thinking,
wait a minute.
We probably missed some signs there.
There was something a little weird about that. The way he said teeny bopper as he caressed my knee.
Yeah. Well, Steve, we're into the heart of the summer right now in our year in review for 2019 for the Steve and Kyle podcast.
It was #Hot Take Summer all summer long on this podcast.
It was a big summer for me. I launched and canceled Sports Tate.
That's right, you did, yeah.
My very own sports podcast, my solo venture. It had a glorious run, and in its invention was Hot Take Summer. And we were unleashing and just Gatlin gunning hot takes this
You
summer.
were unleashing. I think I finally unleashed my first hot take of Hot Take Summer maybe about 3 weeks before Halloween. So I was a little late to the party.
You and I, Steve, walking around finger gunning hot takes every which way.
Sure.
Couldn't stop ourselves. Hot Take Summer. And the only proper way, I had to try to educate people, Steve, because hot takes apparently aren't easy to come by.
No, because, it's like when you look at the thermometer. Some days it's 71, some days it's 98, and some days it's 12. And all over the place.
Yeah, and 75 and 95 can both be considered hot, but you need a way to differentiate how hot those are. Ergo, the hot take thermometer. My best friend Chris Morgan, who lives up in the UP, joined Twitter. He texted me yesterday. I joined Twitter just because you talked about the hot takes, and I want to be a part of it. He unleashed one this morning to help along with Hot Take Summer.
What did Chris have to say?
The Mona Lisa is ugly AF and should not be popular.
That's perfect.
That's a hot take.
That's so good.
Like that's what I'm talking about.
That's
a painting revered as one of the most beautiful paintings in world history.
Because everybody thinks that.
Yeah.
When you, especially if you ever go and see that, if you're ever at the Louvre in Paris.
Yeah.
That thing, how big do you think the Mona Lisa is? You probably think that it's about the size of that Rocky poster.
Yeah, I would
right
even
there.
think that's big.
It is maybe the size of my computer screen here.
Okay, well, that's ridiculous.
Tiny.
Are you serious?
It's tiny. It's, maybe a foot across by 18 inches.
And let me make it a bit crass, if you will, for a moment.
Please do.
About the Mona Lisa. Because everybody reviews it, like we talked about. It's one of the world's history's greatest paintings. If it's 1999, Steve, and you're on your dial-up internet, and you're trying to download one image to assist your teenage self to finish the job.
Yeah.
And you have two options, and it's Pamela Anderson or Mona Lisa herself. There's no question.
It's going to be Pam Anderson.
It's Pam Anderson.
I mean,
the Mona Lisa's ugly. Thank goodness it's finally out there.
Look, so for all of you out there that are concerned that your hot take isn't hot enough, run it through that filter.
Yes, always question, is this as hot as the Mona Lisa is ugly?
Or is this as hot as 1999 Pamela Anderson is hot?
Those are your two barometers for if your take is hot enough. Is it 99 Pam Anderson?
All right. Philip or Zach or Nikki, you need to design a thermometer
from Mona Lisa to 99
to 1999 Pam Anderson.
99 Pam Anderson's probably 5 years after her prime, or was
probably.
that right in her prime?
No, that pretty close.
It's close enough.
Yeah, probably
right?
I bet mid-90s. That's when Baywatch was Early to mid 90s. That's when Baywatch was on.
It's close
But-
enough. But I think that's a proper thermometer
Yeah.
for ranking hot takes. Is your hot take closer to 99 Pam Anderson?
Mm-hmm.
Is your hot take closer to the Mona Lisa?
Now, how far
uncultured-
apart are they on the thermometer?
Oh, that's got to be... Whew.
Like if, say, Pam Anderson, in 1999, Pam Anderson is 110 degrees.
Yeah.
Now we're talking Fahrenheit here, of course.
Yeah, we're in America.
Where is the Mona Lisa? Is she around like 60? Or is she down
No.
around freezing?
Mona Lisa, I think, sets the bar at freezing.
So
I
she's
think-
32 degrees.
I think the Mona Lisa is 32 degrees. That's the only way I can...
and then roughly 3 times hotter, more than 3 times hotter.
Yeah.
Is 1999 Pam Anderson.
We might not even be giving 99 Anderson enough credit.
Okay.
But
So I think Mona Lisa's got to be bumped down a bit.
do you want to go straight 0 for Mona Lisa for Mona?
I'll give her like 8.
So
8 or 9.
So Mona's at 8.5. So we need Nikki, I'm sorry to have to do this to you. You're going to need to update the drawing.
No, I think that I think that Nikki's is pretty accurate
Oh, okay. I was just
Yeah.
saying I need Mona at 8.
Yeah.
Eight,
Well, I mean, if
eight-
you-
an 8 to 9.
because there's a span from where Mona starts to where the top of her head is, and she's
Sure.
between 8 and about 30. So, yeah, I think she's pretty good. And Pam Anderson, right in there around 110. Boy, she has massive lips, just massive.
And that was before the days of, lip injections.
Yeah,
So
she's not looking great.
does 99 Anderson... I haven't even looked at a picture. Does 99 Anderson hold up? Like, if you pull up on the Jumbotron right
let's
now,
see.
and I can't believe we're doing this.
Really, you can't. 1999 Pam Anderson images. All right, so if this indeed is Pam Anderson
In 1999.
in 1999, absolutely it holds
for
up.
God's sake. You always have that fear that it's going to be either the hair, the whatever, the
Yeah.
clothes,
No.
something that's going to make it seem like,
She looks
that's outdated.
fantastic. She looks incredible.
So is the cutoff like those models from Warrant videos in the 80s? Those
but-
don't hold up?
Yeah,
Or do
with,
those
like,
hold
the
up, too?
Frizzy hair. Yes, she absolutely holds up.
Okay. Yeah, 99 Pam Anderson I'd put up against 2019 most anything for the
Mona
hot
Lisa.
take thermometer.
I mean, this one, even though she kind of has that just smelled poop look on her face,
Yeah.
still holds up.
Yeah, the right side of her lips taller than the left.
Yeah.
Had some accident
Did she
happen
have
there.
a stroke?
In 99? No way. Do you think pretty people like that have strokes?
That's true.
That's not the way the strokes work. We all know they attack the ugly people. I'm going to retract that. That's miserable.
Strokes. You heard it here first, folks. From Kyle. Strokes only attack the ugly people.
No, and I apologize. I want to edit it out. I don't like any of that.
No, we don't.
I
we don't do that here.
apologize. Sincerely, I feel terrible about that. That's not fair. That is not right.
Is this Pam Anderson?
That's Pam Anderson with no makeup, it looks like.
Looks fantastic.
Boy, I think we hit the nail on the head there.
I do.
Now, do me a favor, for the
Yeah.
sake of posterity, pull up 96 Pam Anderson, and maybe I was right. Maybe 99 is the superior of those two versions.
Oh, we'll find out. She looked pretty good there, too.
Yeah. A little different, though.
Yeah.
I think she aged better. 99, I prefer. I think 99's better.
I think 99 looks better.
Huh.
How about that?
Proud of ourselves.
Way to
and
go.
and
Good-
I don't think we
good
even
job, team.
We don't even need to for the sake of posterity. We all know Mona is a disastrous, ugly person. Think Mona had a stroke?
I was just going to say, I bet that she did. They only attack the ugly.
Steve,
Hey, wait a minute.
how could you? You know you probably know somebody that had a stroke. Ooh, boy, I do feel bad. I apologize. That's not a joke I should have made. Please don't get mad at me, Internet. So yes, I would appreciate. Maybe I'll take that to Sports Tate, which is another one coming this upcoming week, and there's some takes I have to rate. Maybe I'll start ranking them from Mona Lisa to 99 Pam Anderson. But the problem is, with a thermometer or on a scale of 10, obviously you have intervals. You have 1 through 2, 3, 4, 5. Here, what are my intervals? I need something slightly less ugly than Mona, and then I need something slightly less attractive than Pam. Like,
Are we sticking in the 90s?
No. I was just using that as a frame of reference.
Like Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore is obviously less ugly than Mona.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So bottom
Pauly
of the
Shore would
thermometer
probably be like a 22 degrees.
Yeah. Okay. Oh boy, I better write this down. So we've got Mona at 8.5. And now Paulie's taking a big leap. So you're telling me Paulie is 2.5 times hotter than Mona?
Yeah, I think he's. I feel confident with 22 degrees for Pauly.
Mona Lisa 8.5. Mm-hmm. Pauly Shore 22. So and then we're putting Pam 99 Pam
Pam's
Anderson at 100.
110. Yeah.
Okay.
110.
99. Boy, that's a lot of blanks I got to fill in.
Yeah. Okay. What about? Let's see. Phoebe from Friends.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because we're not going to do...
Because she's the ugliest of the Friends. And I mean the male characters, too.
Yeah.
She's the ugliest of the Friends. Can we agree on that?
No, I think Ross is uglier than her.
Ooh, going anti-Schwimmer stance.
I mean, it's not anti-Schwimmer.
No, if it's a gay David Schwimmer now. I mean, you're
all right,
throwing
fine. I hate what's his name?
David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer.
Is David Schwimmer a better number to put here? Or Phoebe from Friends?
Okay, you tell me who's ranked higher, David Schwimmer or Ray Romano. They're kind of the same person, right?
Here's the thing. I think Ray Romano has aged fantastically.
Gracefully.
Like, I think Ray Romano and Everybody Loves Raymond Ray Romano. Like, he's an average-looking dude, right? Like, I would argue there's...
Yeah, he's just a guy.
But I think as he's gone in, and he's done a couple of TV shows in the last 10 years or whatever. He's on Parenthood, I think, and he did another show on TNT. Looks great.
Yeah.
Handsome.
Doing all right.
Full beard. Long hair. Okay. So now we have the next 3 barometers on the hot take thermometer. We have to classify Phoebe from Friends, Everybody Loves Raymond, Ray Romano, and David Schwimmer. I don't know why we're stuck in the 90s. There's no rule.
It just seems appropriate.
There's no rule that says these have to be in the 90s because it's important to state Mona Lisa is from what, the 1500s or 1600s?
Yeah, but she didn't get notoriety until the 90s. We all know that.
All right, I am prepared to make a proclamation that David Schwimmer would be the high barometer mark of the... Nope, I already retract it. Of those 3, Phoebe...
Hottest?
Ray Schwimmer.
I can't disagree.
Ray Romano from Everybody Loves Raymond era. Oh boy, I hope you.
Now I'm Googling lists of '90s stars.
Well, you got Tim Allen. Do you want to
Mark Paul Gosselaar?
Do you want to include?
That's just not fair. The guy was hot when he was on Saved by the Bell.
Hang on a second.
And he's hot now when he's what is he, like a detective or something?
Kelly Kapowski. Where's Kelly Kapowski going?
Kelly Kapowski.
Should we rank Kelly Kapowski and who was the weirdo who took drugs? Jesse
Spano.
Jesse Spano.
What was that?
Hang on, I got to finish typing this out. I apologize. So I've got David Schwimmer, I've got Ray Romano, and then I've got Phoebe from Friends.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen. That was her name.
David Schwimmer, Friends era. I got to put that too, yeah. Okay. Phoebe from Friends. Whew. I think we should decide how many markers I need, because right now we're at 6.
I think you need 10.
10's a good number,
Yeah.
so we need 4 more. So do we want to include Zach
'cause
from Saved by the Bell?
Because we're going from 8.5 to 110. Why we couldn't just go from 0 to 100?
No.
So 8.5 is 0. 110
Is 100
Is
and
100.
1.5. So, but do we go, Patricia Richardson, Jill from Home Improvement?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Ugly. I'd actually put her below, I'd put her below Phoebe.
How about Carson Daly?
Ooh, wow. Ahead of Phoebe.
Looked great then, looks great now.
TRL Carson Daly.
TRL Carson Daly.
Okay, so I got TRL Carson Daly. So the current listings, 7 markers deep. And again, we had a hard out today. We had things we have to talk about.
Exactly. So we're getting to the important stuff first.
A-bit material, as advertised. So we have the Mona Lisa at 8.5. We got Pauly Shore 22. Now the rest are undefined. David Schwimmer from Friends. Ray Romano from Everybody Loves Raymond. Phoebe from Friends. TRL
I
Carson
think that you need
Daly.
to make it clear, not just Phoebe from Friends, but Phoebe Friends era.
Friends. Okay, so everything will be
Yeah.
Friends era.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore, though, just a generic.
Yeah, Pauly Shore, because he kind of looks the same. Although I heard an interview with him recently. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I feel bad for that guy.
Daly?
No, Pauly Shore.
Oh, Pauly Shore.
Yeah, he seemed pretty sad because
How? Like, for what reason? That his career...
I think that because his career just kind of stopped.
I'd be interested to hear an interview then, because it's very similar with Mike Myers.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at Mike Myers' career and Pauly Shore's career, those were both, at one point, one of the top stars in the world for a period
Mike Myers
of time.
did.
Exactly. He was a voice in the Shrek series, right?
Yeah, which I'm sure he did.
Oh, he's making
Got paid
millions.
handsomely for.
But comedy-wise, was it The Love Guru?
Maybe,
But the same thing with Pauly Shore. I mean, he had that run in the 90s, Steve, where it was incredible.
Biodome,
I mean,
Encino Man.
No, was he in Encino? Nope, that was Sean Astin and Brendan Fraser.
He wasn't in Encino Man.
No, what was that one where he was on the
Sure,
farm with
Pauly
the...
Shore wasn't in Encino Man.
I am nearly positive Pauly Shore wasn't in Encino Man.
Pauly Shore Encino Man quotes. Boy,
Doesn't seem like he's in it.
well, no, that was an autofill.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was definitely in Encino Man.
Nah.
Yeah, he was Stony Brown.
Wait, what? Because now I need you to pull up the rest of that cast, because were all the other names really stupid?
Wait, this may be inaccurate.
What?
Well, look, there are quotes from Stony, but, okay, like, if you're edged because I'm wheezing all your grindage, just chill, because if I had the whole Brady Bunch thing happening at my pad, I'd go grind over there, so don't tax my gig so hardcore, Cruster.
That can't be from that movie. That can't be from any movie.
Look, I'm going to pull this up on the Jumbotron so you can see it.
No, you're right. Pauly Shore was in it.
Encino Man.
I
1992,
apologize.
Pauly Shore, Stony Brown. Okay, here's a picture of... Yeah, look at that. The Three Musketeers. There's Sean Astin. There's Linkovich Chomovsky, I believe his name was in the movie, because he was the missing link.
Yep, Link.
And then Pauly Shore in Encino Man, 1992. I accept your apology.
I feel
I mean,
terrible.
As we all know, I am the movie guy.
What? Let me pull up. I'm pulling up the Pauly Shore filmography right now. So he was in a short movie in 2018. He was in a animated series in 2018. Animated one episode. He was in Sandy Wexler, the Adam Sandler movie.
Heard
Came
of that?
out
Never
2
saw
years
it.
ago. He did a bit part. Just looking for literally anything he's done that's worth a TV movie.
All right, moving
Bucky
on.
Larson, Born to be a Star.
Ah,
He had a bit role in that, Steve. But again, very similar to Mike Myers.
How many more do we need?
Wait, 3, and then I
got
need
one
to
for
come
you.
up. I need to come up with temperatures for all of these people. Who do you got?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, NPH, Doogie Howser era NPH. I'm going to put him.
Are we going Doogie Howser era?
Well, you said 90s, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to remove him because he was 16?
Yeah, he was 16. No, keep him in there.
I think I'm going to put him below Carson Daly. Ahead of Phoebe.
Bold move.
Ahead of Phoebe. Actually, the more I look at Phoebe, the more she's going below Romano. Yeah, it's happening right now. It's official. Phoebe just took a dive. And then,
Who else we need?
Doogie Howser. Well, I think we need to include some Saved by the Bell. So whether we do Paul
I think it's gotta
Gosselaar,
be Tiffany Amber Thiessen.
Okay, so Kelly Kapowski, Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and she's got to be just below 99 Anderson, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Doogie Howser, NPH. We got Carson Daly, TRL, obviously. And then
Every time I hear Carson Daly, I'm reminded of
who do you think I is?
my buddy Frank, who used to draw caricatures at the local Six Flags amusement park
for the steep price.
It was like $20.
$20.
Yeah. So he drew. He was a caricature artist at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey. And I think Frank talked about this when we had him, when we called him that one day, and he was on the podcast.
Yeah.
And people would. There were two things that stuck out to him. People would say, they'd walk up and say, "Yo, you can draw?" And he'd say, "Yeah." And then, for some reason, they would get confused, and then they'd say, "Paint my face," because they thought that it was
face painting.
Face painting, even though he was standing there in front of a wall of caricatures.
Yep, and not faces that are painted.
No, not at all. And then the other thing that stuck out was the woman who walked up and said, "How much are these?" And he said, $20. And she looked at him and said, "Who you think you is, Carson Daly or something?"
Because obviously, at that point, Carson Daly would be charging the most.
$20 for a caricature.
For a caricature. Now,
the one thing he also told me that I always got a kick out of is when somebody would come up and they'd say, "Hey, I want a caricature. I don't really know what I want." So their go-to was always like, "Oh, what's your favorite animal?" So the person would naturally say, "Oh, a dolphin or a tiger." So you'd think that the picture would be them like riding a tiger or like petting a tiger, or, swimming with a dolphin. But they would always draw them shaving that animal.
Oh.
Like a razor in one hand.
Oh my God.
A bunch of shaving cream.
That's way too dark. Boy, we've come a long way.
Because if you've ever seen that, the person being drawn doesn't see what the picture looks like until the end.
Do you know how quickly that'd be shut down in 2019?
I know.
Pictures of you shaving an endangered animal. A caricature. And that's dumb that it would be shut down, but oh my God. Because you turn that thing around, huh? Mm-hmm. Huh? What do you think? And they have to act okay with what they've received.
He said they would have contests to see who could do the worst drawings and still get the person to buy them.
Because especially if it's your kid, you're going to feel obligated no matter what.
It's like any other job. You get bored as hell at it, so you need to come up with ways to entertain yourself.
Yeah. I think I have the perfect person for a 10th. Actually, I'll give you two options, Steve. Topanga.
Oh, boy. Boy Meets World era Topanga, obviously.
Or Winnie.
Oh, God, Winnie. Winnie above and beyond.
It's got to be Winnie, right?
Winnie Cooper might be above 99 Pam Anderson
Hang on.
for me.
I'll shut this recorder off and we'll have this argument off air because this is not suited. It was weeks ago we talked about how we've never had a legitimate argument or disagreement. Right now is it. We looked at... Pull up Winnie Cooper for me.
I know it's not logical. I understand that, and I'm willing to admit it. Winnie Cooper.
So I have the current rankings on the hot take thermometer. The Mona Lisa, the Pauly Shore, Friends era David Schwimmer, Friends era Phoebe, Ray Romano from Everybody Loves Raymond, Doogie Howser NPH, TRL Carson Daly.
Look at her.
Now she's aged. She's better now.
She's fantastic.
And she's like a math whiz.
Yeah.
She's incredibly smart.
Mm-hmm. Danica McKellar.
Who's aged? Yeah, because if you look at her in the show era,
Yeah, I mean,
we probably oversold Winnie.
nope. No. She was lovely then.
Boy, I'm seeing these pictures from the show. I think I'm going to go into quick judgment.
Don't you dare. Look at that turtleneck.
After TRL Carson Daly, we have Winnie Cooper.
Wait, and where was Carson Daly?
Ahead of Doogie Howser MPH, obviously.
And where was Doogie Howser?
Ahead of Ray Romano from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Okay.
Who was ahead of Friends
All
era.
right.
Phoebe was
All
ahead
right.
of... And then after Winnie Cooper, we have Kelly Kapowski. And then bringing home the gold at 110 is 1999 Pamela Anderson.
So on a scale of 8.5 to 110.
Yeah, and I'll have to take some time once we're done assigning numeric values, because I feel like that Schwimmer to Romano trio is really close.
Yeah.
Like, there can't be much gap there, but the gap between, like, Doogie Howser and Carson Daly is going to be pretty substantial. And then, obviously, Carson Daly to Winnie Cooper might be a 30-degree difference.
Yeah, it could be.
We might just have 6 names bunched in
Yeah.
between 8 degrees.
Yeah, this doesn't have to be equally spread out.
I mean, because those top 3 are the top 3. And that doesn't even include Topanga. We simply ran out. Should I
Yeah.
replace Doogie Howser or Carson Daly with Topanga?
No, I think Topanga just gets an honorable mention.
Wow.
You know what she is? She can be Winnie Cooper's understudy. So if Winnie Cooper, for whatever reason, falls ill on the night of the big performance, Topanga steps in for her.
Is this the worst thing we've ever done?
No. Not at all.
All right.
I don't know if there's a question that's been asked more on this podcast than, is this the dumbest thing we've ever done?
You know, it's a weird phenomenon regarding this podcast and recording this thing every week, but there's a lot of weeks that, man, I laugh, but I get to the end, and I would honestly say that's the dumbest thing we've ever done.
Yeah.
And I would argue, still, nearing our 5th calendar year of doing this podcast, well, it is the 5th
Yeah,
calendar
we're into
year,
the 5th year.
that right there, the image of 1999 Pamela Anderson and the Mona Lisa, interspersed with Carson Daly, Everybody Loves Raymond Ray Romano,
Like Doogie Howser.
and Doogie Howser era NPH, and then a brief argument about either Kelly Kapowski or Winnie Cooper,
Right.
is in fact the dumbest thing we've ever done.
Up until that point, I don't even know if it was a debate or a conversation.
No, Steve, this, while you say this goes into the dumb folder, I say this goes into the money-making folder that you and I have yet to really dig into and target.
This is the saga of Corn Man and his arch nemesis, Scarecorn.
As much as I look at farming and think, man, I'd love to be a farmer,
Really?
I don't know a thing about
Seems
it.
like such a pain in the ass.
We digress. We'll come back to that.
Where did that rank on your aspirations?
Good question. So obviously, Mailman's number 1. Now, if you want
Mailman's still number 1?
oh, for
Even
sure.
even over Corn Man?
Well, listen, I don't know how much Corn Man pays, but if it's a living wage, Corn Man sounds like a hell of a job for me.
What's your business, sir?
I'm glad you asked. Here's my business card. Kyle,
Corn Man.
Corn Man. What do you do? Says right there, sir. Man of corn.
1-800-CORN Man. Give me a call. I don't know why you talk like a detective
Oh, Philip.
in the 30s.
Philip, I need this. I need this fake business on a design. So here's what I'm thinking.
Well,
you've got an idea?
Yeah, I do.
And again, so we digress. Yada yada. We digress. Steve, what's your idea?
The image is basically you, but you're a scarecrow.
Oh, you're going scarecrow. Okay.
Yeah, so you have like straw coming out of your sleeves and your pant legs, holding an ear of corn in each hand.
Yeah.
Maybe a shirt that says "Corn Man"
on the scarecrow.
Yeah.
So here's my idea.
And then a sign that says like "For a good corn call."
Oh,
1-800 Corn Man.
Here's my idea. One corn, like, with the sides a little peeled off of the corn cob, but it's me. So there's 2 eyeballs.
Wait, so you're the piece of corn?
Yeah.
Okay.
Smiling face, eyes, glasses, a hat, and I'm the corn. And then in big like arching letters, say like Corn Man or whatever. But then below it, for all your corn needs, call 1-800 Corn Man. Something like that. Maybe there's overalls on this corn cob.
Wait.
Yeah.
I have an idea that is going to bring together your love of corn.
Yep.
And superheroes.
Oh, wow.
You're going to be like, obviously Clark Kent, mild-mannered news reporter.
Sure.
But then when trouble is afoot, he rips off the jacket and the shirt and tie and everything. That could be you. It could be you wearing a suit, but ripping it off to reveal your logo, which obviously is a stalk of corn.
Oh, okay, good. The logo. I thought you were going to say, rip off my business suit, and I'm literally a piece of corn.
Oh boy, yeah.
I'm a corn cob with legs, about to fly off to the most.
That's what you call a collaborative idea.
To the most recent corn emergency, because I'm Corn Man, and while there's people being murdered, mugged, dying by the day, I save corn. So I would appreciate it. Philip, Zach, Nikki, the 3 artists that we have in this listening family of ours, if you could give some incarnation of 1, 2, or maybe all 3 of those designs that we could throw on some merch, or maybe even business cards that we can hand out in the public.
Yeah.
And again, that's Kyle, Corn Man. For all your corn needs, you call 1-800 Corn Man.
That's probably our best phone number that we've come up with.
Wow, that's a lot better than the last effort, which I'm using as a podcast title for reasons I still don't understand.
Oh, God. Yes. Okay, now, of course, with any Steve and Kyle merch, there has to be a reference to SteveandKyle.com on there.
Yeah, well, we're trying to sell things here, not be generous. So make sure you plug the site. That doesn't help.
That site, of course, SteveandKyle.com/merch.
No Scaracorn and Corn Man merch up there as of right now, but that thing is always in flux, and then randomly we'll get 3 to 5 new designs. We'll post them up there, so be sure to check that out as often as you can.
This podcast is all about reflection, looking back on the embarrassing things that we did in our younger years, sometimes as children or teenagers, or in this case, college, which is way too old to be doing fake wrestling in your living room.
Yeah, in your underwear.
Well, I mean, you called it underwear
That's
wrestling.
right, folks. Steve, in college, was so caught up underwear wrestling with his roommates that he didn't notice the hot girl neighbors come barging into the house.
They had finally paid us some attention.
There was sure to be just loads of sex about to happen until they walked in on the underwear wrestling. But that story, it is retold here. But that's not the point, Steve. The point is we need some closure. And that closure can only come in finding these women and eventually talking to them about if they remember you sprinting upstairs in your underwear. We've seen the pictures of you from that era.
Yeah.
With the long hair.
Everything about that time frame is terrible.
Now, this was obviously before you got your senses about you, before you were underwear wrestling with your roommates.
Yeah.
When a couple of chicks came over and you bolted upstairs in your tighty whities.
Yeah.
To avoid the embarrassment of being seen by the hot girl neighbors.
Yeah. The ones.
Do you remember who they were?
No, I have no idea. They were just always the girls, like literally the girls next door. Because that was sophomore year of college, and a couple of buddies of mine had moved off campus, and they had this townhouse like a few miles from school, and so we would see them on occasion, and it would always be like, because we were always just scheming to like, oh, let's have a party this weekend, let's drink this weekend, and then it was always like, all right, everyone's got to invite 3 chicks.
Sure.
And there were like the 3 go-tos that all of us would like.
I gotta get to them first.
Exactly. Like if it were you and me, the first people we would go to would be Katie and Annette. Like it almost doesn't count.
No,
just
the first 3 would be Katie, Annette, and our friend Wendy.
Yeah.
That's it. It would be who can get to the phone first.
Yeah. Hey, party this weekend. You in?
Yeah. I invited mine. I don't know what you're waiting for. Because I would equally donate. Now, do your roommates at the time, do you think any of them might know their names?
No. I mean, they may remember a name, but I would be... And those guys, I don't... Because it was 3 guys. One of them was Ray, so we know how that went. I don't...
You just got to give me his number. I'll ask him.
I'm telling you, I still remember his number, but I know that his number...
is different.
He had, at one point, his brother had taken over that phone. His brother, who we referred to as Sex Ed, because his name was Ed.
And obviously, Ed was having sex.
732.
All right.
Yep.
Because
it's weird. Because that was right around the time that I think I had just gotten my first cell phone.
Yeah.
So you know how like before you had a cell phone, you could remember everyone's number.
Sure.
Well, there were a handful of numbers I still remember.
Because I would equally fundraise for the opportunity to talk to one of those girls and see if they remembered the day they opened the door.
Oh, man.
And saw a couple of dudes.
That would be incredible. I mean, there's
no way.
Because the one guy, it was Ray, it was Brian, and it was Dave. And Dave, Ray, as we know, is gone to
temporarily
the ether.
Out of the picture.
Permanently gone.
Temporarily up until the first side episode of Ray Connections, where we bring back Steve and Ray to be officially Ray connected.
Dave, I'm still friends with. Dave is I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Okay,
but it's been years since I talked to him.
Well,
like every now and then there will be a like of a comment or something like that.
No better time to really launch that thing back into orbit then.
Dave would be the least likely of the 3 to know them.
Dang it.
Because he was much more of the quiet guy, probably wouldn't have initiated the conversation.
So Dave's a no-go. Ray temporarily out of the picture.
Ray is gone.
And you said the third one was Brian?
Brian.
Do we know where Brian... Do we know if Brian would know? Or might?
There's a chance he would remember a first name, I think.
Where are you at with Brian today?
I haven't talked to him in years.
Okay.
I probably haven't talked to him since, like, right after I graduated college. Right. No, actually, we kind of even lost touch, like, in college.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah.
Because I really, like, that's the conversation that I want to have with not obviously a person associated with this show, but somebody mentioned on this podcast. Those 2 women are next to Jack, R.I.P.
We haven't even really... I think we need to get back into it and explain the full story. I was at a friend's house, friends of mine, this is sophomore, junior year of college, something like that, and that was like the brief period of time in my life that I really watched wrestling.
Yeah.
Because it was the
big era.
It was a social activity. Monday nights, Thursday nights, we'd get together for Raw and SmackDown, and we would not like seriously watch it, but we would enjoy watching it, having a few beers, order a pizza, and it was just like our little tradition. And then, as tends to happen when you watch wrestling a lot, you have those conversations like, oh, well, what would your wrestling character be, or what would your finishing move be? But what we did was we took it one step further and then actually like threw couch cushions down on the floor in the living room and held wrestling matches and videotaped them And one time we were doing that.
How else are you going to get on the Backyard Wrestling DVDs that were going to be released if you didn't set up your living room as a wrestling ring?
So one time we were doing that, and it was the one and only time, not surprising, that the hot chicks that lived next door just swung the door open and walked in like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And I was so embarrassed, I ran up the steps and hid.
So you, in your wrestling outfit, you booked it, and so that has been one of my mysteries that I demand an answer to, is who were these two women? What do they remember about that? And was that the moment they decided to simply have sex with other people? Or was it before that?
I'm sure I'm sure they had already decided,
But do you think
that was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, there was a bended straw somewhere.
There we go. There's
And seeing long-haired Steve.
there's Brian right there.
Oh, look, he's got a family.
Yeah. Nice looking little
So
gang.
you're
he's got
telling me it would be weird to simply shoot a message to Brian and say, "Hey, Bri Dog, you remember those hotties next door when we lived wherever?"
I think that he would. I know that he would remember, and I think he would really get a kick out of it.
Because that's an embarrassing moment that you don't forget, right?
I think Frank was there too.
Well, we can't get him on potty mouth. Do you think Frank would remember?
He definitely would.
Do you think he would remember the women?
Nope. No, I'm telling you, this was one of probably 3 interactions that we had with them throughout the course of a school year.
Man.
Yeah. All right, if you know the women, if you're out there listening and you know these women, you tell them to get in touch.
Oh, man. That is a story I demand
God,
satisfaction.
I would
for.
love the other side of that story.
We did get the other side of that story very recently, within
not,
a month.
I mean, not technically. We didn't get the hot girls on.
That's true, but we did talk to our friend Frank,
Yes.
co-host of the Frank and Eric podcast, and he didn't have much more detail to add than you already had. So
I don't think he remembered it as clearly as I did.
all roads, as they have for years past in this podcast, all roads lead in one direction. All roads lead to Ray.
Ray would probably have some more information on that.
I'm going to get a hold of this man, and in 2020, the Steve and Kyle podcast will host the one and only episode, the premiere and the finale of Ray Connections.
I don't know if I can sign off on that.
I just need the video of you underwear wrestling, okay? That's all we really need here.
All right. I'll give you his... I think I still have his email address somewhere.
Hey, Ray, you remember your college buddy Steve? I don't need any of the details about what you and him did and why you don't talk anymore. You got video of him underwear wrestling when hot girls walked in? See ya.
Signed, Kyle.
Yeah, no other detail about who I am or why I'm emailing.
Oh, boy. That was definitely a look back into my past that I'm not very proud of.
Finally, this week for the year in review, 2019, the Steve and Kyle podcast, we wrap up
On a holiday note.
And with another one that I think you and I are putting into the Moneymaker folder for down the road whenever we decide we want to actually start making money.
Okay.
And that is our plan to somehow monetize a new seasonal superhero. Christmas has kind of cornered the market on having a caricature and a mascot,
yeah.
if you will.
Santa Claus, of course.
We need one.
For our gift exchange?
Yeah, for the Cloak and Dagger, the non-denominational.
The 4th annual Steve and Kyle podcast Cloak and Dagger non-denominational Winter Solstice gift exchange.
Yeah, we need a mascot for that.
Okay.
It has
Like Solstice Man or something?
Yes! Yeah,
Okay.
Solstice Man.
So he's a guy, maybe he has the picture of a sun on his t-shirt to represent the solstice? Or is he just a man that's dressed appropriately for the weather?
Ooh!
Like a
Okay.
sweater?
Yeah. So
Maybe
he's-
some, maybe like a nice pair of jeans, but you can tell he's probably got like thermals on underneath.
Yeah.
And some nice LL Bean boots.
Seasonal Sammy.
Seasonal Sammy.
Seasonal Sammy.
Okay.
And this has got children's book written all over it. Seasonal Sammy. Plug your kids' ears, everybody. He's also Solstice Man.
Okay. So
it's like Clark Kent and Superman.
yeah.
So Solstice Man during the day is Seasonal Sammy.
Seasonal Sammy. He goes to his job at the Daily Bugle or whatever.
Yeah, always has hot chocolate. Like you come over to Seasonal Sammy's house for whatever. You're dropping mail off at Seasonal Sammy's house. Oh, hey, puzzle carrier. Hot chocolate?
And he always gives it to you in one of those thermoses.
Oh, so, yeah.
It's plaid on the outside.
And you open it, maybe let it cool off, and there's always the
little cup. Oh.
Yeah, and a design.
Yeah.
On the top of it, like they do at the coffee shops.
Yeah. And it's always a picture of him. Because he can draw a picture of Seasonal Sammy like in the froth from the cream.
Yeah, so Seasonal Sammy has he is
all right.
the alter ego
we need to
of
send
Solstice Man.
We need to clip this portion of audio, send it to Philip. Say, Philip, we need a design ASAP in time for the holidays. # Seasonal Sammy. I think it'll be a big seller.
How does he look in your mind? Is he like the polar opposite of Santa? So is he like a skinny, curly-haired guy, just always wearing a sweater with a snowflake on it?
To me, he kind of looks like... I just had to Google what this man's name was because I couldn't remember.
Uh-huh.
He kind of looks like John Arbuckle, the owner of Garfield.
Okay. I can't think of a better description. I think that's right. It's John Arbuckle. And hear me out here, a tiny tweak, Steve. It may be a Christmas... Look
at that.
Oh, my God. I didn't mean to slander.
That's exactly what he looks like.
That's what I'm thinking, because it's not a solstice sweater.
Yeah.
He's wearing a solstice turtleneck.
That's perfect.
And again, solstice turtleneck.
Maybe with a reindeer on the turtleneck.
Left hand in his pocket. Right hand, big old mug of hot cocoa, steam piping out of it.
Mm-hmm. He's got, again, he's got his solstice-themed sweater on.
Obviously.
With a turtleneck underneath it.
Okay, I like that.
He's wearing a nice, thick pair of dungarees.
Because Seasonal Sammy layers.
Underneath the dungarees are the thermals, his LL Bean boots,
yep.
And he's probably leaning on a snow shovel.
And underneath all of that is the spandex suit of Solstice Man. So is
he a superhero too?
Yeah, his alter ego is Solstice.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, of
Man.
course. I forgot. I'm already getting confused.
Seasonal Sammy has 4 layers of clothes on.
By the way, we're still waiting on a design for Corn Man and Scarecorn from like 2 months ago.
I had forgotten about that. For Corn Man and Scarecorn. Oh, man. So, again, Seasonal Sammy has 4 layers of clothes on.
Mm-hmm.
The very first layer is the spandex suit when he needs to become Solstice Man.
Yes. Boy, that's a lot of layers to take off in the phone booth.
Yeah. Yeah. And someone's getting a nice outfit.
Oh, but Solstice Man doesn't go into a phone booth. Yeah. He goes into an ice shanty, like where people ice fish.
Man, I sure hope solstice emergencies happen when he's near a lake. A frozen lake.
In cold weather.
What does Solstice Man do during the summer? He's an accountant?
No, we talked about this. He works at the Daily Bugle.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. So he is a reporter.
He's a mild-mannered reporter.
Who in the winter is also a superhero for solstice emergencies and hazardous situations.
So if it gets too dark, too early, and you can't find your way home, Solstice Man.
I feel like that's the title of his comic, he's just like super responsible. Solstice Man. A seasonal superhero for winter emergencies and hazardous situations.
Involving light.
Put that on a fake comic book. Philip, you've got a lot of work to do. Okay? Or Nikki, Zach, get to going
any one of our artistes.
Because I adore every piece of artwork that comes from the brains, the idiotic brains, it should be said, of Steve and myself regarding these. I
think that if I was rich, I would just hire somebody like Philip to kind of follow me around all day.
Yeah.
and sketch out my stupid ideas.
Pawn off these ideas and say, hey, you draw that one up? Yeah, winter superhero who also just always has hot chocolate and is wearing 4 layers?
Done.
Sure. It's like, we're not asking him, like, oh, could you, redo the Mona Lisa and shade her differently?
We're asking you to draw John Arbuckle, who's already been designed, and just give him a turtleneck.
Your job's 80% done. We just need to make it so we don't get sued.
Right, yeah. Make
or
him
boot it off
make
of
him
them.
just different enough.
Yeah, or boot it off the merch shop like one of the other ideas we've had.
What was that? Oh, the Calvin and Hobbes one.
Our biggest seller. Ripped from our grass.
Boy, I think it's a good idea. I love it. I love the description of it. I can see it in my brain. I can't wait to see it on a T-shirt. I can't wait to see it on the big screen as I'm sitting in the front row eating popcorn as Seasonal Sammy and Solstice Man come flying through. Do they fly? I don't know.
Solstice Man flies. Seasonal Sammy is obviously the mild-mannered alter ego with plates of hot cocoa and turtleneck sweaters handing out to neighbors, children, loved ones, family, friends, whoever may come by during the solstice season. So that was your comprehensive look back as we wrap up there with Solstice Man and Seasonal Sammy. We hope everybody had a wonderful solstice season. Everybody who took part in the non-denominational Winter Solstice Gift Exchange, the 4th annual this year, thank you very much. Went off with a few more hitches than normal. But needless to say, awesome to see that thing all come to fruition again and to see this listener family come together for gifts that nobody else would understand.
No. Yeah, more importantly, thank you for just listening, downloading this podcast on a weekly basis every Tuesday at 7 a.m. and actually listening to it, giving us feedback and commenting on the stupid things that we talk about. It really, it's nice to see. It's nice to know that people actually listen when you record this drivel on a weekly basis.
Listen, it is the interactions with you all that keep me personally doing this.
So thanks for gathering around the fire with us these last couple of days. We can finally go home now. Been sitting here for damn near 72 hours recording
You and I
this thing.
Stopped talking to each other 60 hours ago. We had a falling out. The only reason we had a falling back in was to turn these mics on so we could get out of here.
But yeah, thank you for listening to the official Steve and Kyle podcast 2019 year in review, and we will see you in 2020.